Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk. Here I am looking at the Huawei Ascend P1. Do a quick unboxing video for you. I must point out that this is a slightly early pre-release, or well, it's a sample version anyway, of the device. And this come courtesy of our friends over at Clove Technology. So the handset on top in the bag. Just take a quick look at the other accessories in here. Well, that's pretty much all we have. As I say, this is a sample that's coming from Clove Technology coming from Huawei actually via Clove Technology. So we just have a standard USB sync charge cable in there. Obviously, full retail, you'll have a charger, probably a headset for, or headphones at least, in the box as well. And clearly there's space here for a manual and other bits and pieces. So we'll just focus on the actual handset itself. So on the front, forward-facing camera, loudspeaker at the top there. The forward-facing camera is 1.3 megapixels, so that's pretty cool. There's a 4.3-inch display, which is 540 by 960 pixels, so slightly higher than the standard. Well, I guess I'd say standard, but the 480 800, but a little bit higher resolution there. 4.3 inch, as I say, it's quite large. Below that we have capacitive touch buttons, just the three, the menu, home and back button. On the left hand side we have an up and down volume control. Nothing really to see on the bottom apart from there is a little hole there which is the microphone. And on the right hand side, I'll turn it this way around, we have a cover over the micro SD card slot. We have the power button, and then switching around to the top we have a 3.5mm headphone and headset connector. We have a micro USB sync charge connector, and then we have a little cover. Let's try and lift open. There we go. A little cover over a SIM card slot. You might wonder why that's there. That's because the back cover isn't removable. So the battery isn't removable. So you know, you typically would have remove the back cover to get the SIM in. Or whatever, but no, it's a fixed back cover, it doesn't come off. So on the back we have a 8 megapixel autofocus camera with dual LED flash underneath that diffuser there. Full HD video recording possible with that camera as well. There's also a loudspeaker just on the bottom on that lip there, so you can see it's quite a slim little device there as well. I'll say not so little, it's a 4.3 inch display, but a slim device nonetheless. We're just going to go and power up. And while they wait for that to start up, which hopefully it will, let's try it again. Let me just run down the rest of the specification. It's quad band for GSM, dual band for HSDPA, so it's going to work pretty much everywhere. Dimensions: 127mm tall, just under 65mm wide, and 7.7mm thick. I guess that's measured at that thinnest point there. That's why it does seem exceptionally slim. In terms of weight, only 110 grams. It does feel extremely lightweight. The display is a Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen. I've heard that the touchscreen, the actual quality of the screen is very good, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. Running down the rest of the specification, we've got Dolby Mobile 3.0 sound enhancement, micro SD card supports up to 32 gig, 1 gig of internal, 1 gig of RAM, I should say, and 4 gig of ROM. Built-in Wi-Fi supporting 802.11bg and N standards, as well as Wi-Fi hotspot and DLNA. Bluetooth 3.0 with A2GP support as well. We got the, as I say, the autofocus camera on the back, which is 8 megapixels, supporting 1080p video recording, geotagging, HDR, and face recognition. Built-in GPS, obviously, which pretty much comes to be the standard. Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich is already installed, upgradable to 4.1, I'm told. Processor, well, it's such a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Cortex A9, so it should be pretty quick. We'll do a benchmark on that in just a moment. I think that pretty much covers most of the spec. Got an FM radio in there as well, and the battery, which isn't removable, is a 1670 milliamp hours. Battery according to spec. Thing that's a little bit more unusual about the Huawei versus other Android handsets, it is a completely vanilla implementation of the ice cream sandwich operating system. There's no overlay as such. You don't have anything, an equivalent to say HTC Sense, for example. So it's a nice clean implementation. In terms of what we already have on here, on home screen we have the Google search. Interestingly, it doesn't seem to have the voice search function there. We've got weather and time in the middle, and obviously a couple of things on the desktop. Starting out this way, we've got basically 5 panels, 5 pages of stuff on the desktop there. Pushing the button in the middle, you can see what we've got in terms of applications. App Center takes place of Google Play. That isn't there. I don't know if that's something that we can just expect to be like that, or if this is just because it's an early build or whatever. We've got the browser. In terms of what's pre-installed, there isn't a great deal. I actually have booted up earlier on because I wanted to get Quadrant downloaded on here as well, ready to take a look at. In terms of what else we have, what I'm going to do is go into system settings and wireless LAN, and it's going to connect to Wi-Fi network. The keypad is a little bit different. Obviously you've got full QWERTY there, but one thing in terms of switching, I've found out when I was downloading Quadrant, for example, a little bit fussy, a little bit get a bit of getting used to, I suppose, that when you switch between letters and then you go to numbers, the button to switch back to letters is over here, and the button to switch to numbers is over here. So it just kind of forces that backwards and forwards rather than using the same button in the same place to switch between numerics and alphas. But anyway, let's go and connect to that Wi-Fi network. Okay, we'll just obtain an IP address. And we are connected. Right, so now that we're connected, let's go and take a look at the browser. So rather than going there, we're going to go to our site. See how quickly that loads using Wi-Fi and broadband, obviously. Page loading relatively quickly, running pretty quickly. There we go. So there we have it. We note initially that clearly the Flash player isn't installed here, as we don't have anything playing that video in the center. But it's pretty speedy, standard stuff. Double tap to zoom in, double tap to zoom back out, 2-finger zooming, and is it going to switch around? Maybe that's something that's turned off. Oh, there we go, auto rotate on, come back. There we go, we can switch between portrait and landscape pretty quickly. So that's kind of cool. Let's come back out of here, back in here. YouTube client isn't something that's pre-installed, so we won't be able to look at that. In terms of other stuff we've got on here, it's pretty straightforward. It's quite sparse, nothing terribly exciting. We can pull down at the top, as you can see here, and we can turn the Bluetooth and wireless LAN on and off, GPS and other stuff there, and data switch and the auto rotate, which we turned on and off a moment ago. Popping in here, sorry, back into our applications, I will just quickly run through a Quadrant benchmark. So let's just quickly let that run through. I'd expect this to be quite good, bearing in mind it's a dual-core 1.5 Cortex processor. So let's let that run through. It shouldn't take too long. There we go. Now onto memory I/O. So okay, there we got our 2D graphics. Well, it didn't tell me what the frame rate that was there. We're running there at, well, it went down to 20. And it's up to 60. It's a little bit variable there. And then we have up to 70 frames a second, 70 plus frames a second there. That's kind of cool. And then we've got just under 30. Oh, again, a bit variable. 40 frames a second there as well. So in terms of our device, that's not bad. 3,513. That's quite good actually when you compare that to, say, the HTC One X, which is a quad core. So it's benchmarking relatively well. You can see your CPU and other performance information here. So the CPU performance is pretty good in actual fact when you compare it to some of the others with the quad core processors. So that's not bad. We'll run a benchmark a few times when we actually do the review, because we've noted that, you know, when you run a benchmark 3 or 4 times, you get quite different results, and then we'll take an average. But anyway, that's a fairly quick look at the Huawei Ascend P1. We'll have a full review for you over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. If you want to ask me anything about this, or indeed any other sort of devices or handsets that we're playing around with or not, then please do so. As I say, this one came courtesy of our friends over at Clove Technology at clove.co.uk. So if you want to go and check out the P1, they actually do. I think they started stocking it already. I think it's around £370 at the moment, which isn't bad. I think this is pretty much Huawei's first sort of mid to high end device in terms of spec and performance, and in terms of screen size and everything else. So it's not bad in terms of price when you compare it to some of the others out there. But I'll say we'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.